Yo, welcome to the Juiced Up Show. I'm your host, Jed Juiced Up Accardo, episode 43 of the program. The Juiced Up Show is a sports pop culture show. We talk about a little bit of everything, anything that's kind of clickbait going viral. We just don't do politics and we don't do religion. All right, we got episode 43 of the show today. This is our NFL special. We're getting ready for the NFL season, getting ready to kick off here in a few weeks. Last week of the preseason's coming up, so I thought it was about a good time right now to go over our divisional picks, our wild card predictions, our two Super Bowl teams, and who's going to win the Super Bowl this preseason. All of this is subject to change depending on how the season goes this year. We also will be talking a little bit about Deshaun Watson getting the starting nod for the Cleveland Browns. 49ers owner Jed York arrested. And then we also had another NFL headline come through the wire today about they are now canceling the Pro Bowl game. So we're going to add that to the docket as well and talk about that. And then at the end of the show, it's the Juice Up Takes. All right, so on episode 43, first of all, man, prayers and blessings and thinking about it. Don't know the player, don't really follow the team, but Ed Oliver lost his 2-year-old son to an accidental drowning. So we just want to say, prayers up to him, many blessings, and hopefully you and your family recover okay. And I can't imagine the type of pain and agony you're going through, being a father of my own 2 kids. So, bless up to them and a lot of prayers to Ed Oliver, his family, friends, and loved ones. All right, so the NFL, like I was saying at the start of the show, came through the news wire today that they are now going to get rid of the Pro Bowl game. So I think they're seeing it's no longer profitable, and they try to keep it as long, and they try to revive it as much as they can, but they probably figure at this point, what is the point? Like, why do we even have this game anymore? You got dudes playing flag football. You got quarterbacks like Shedeur Sanders making the Pro Bowl out of default because basically you're the next man up type of thing because so many guys declined to go to the game. It left Shedeur Sanders to make it with mediocre numbers. So at this point, the game's been tainted. It hasn't been competitive in a long time. So I think this was just the final nail in the coffin. They tried, they experimented, they did what they could do, and it is what it is. So the NFL will no longer have a Pro Bowl. And I think when you think of the Pro Bowl, you think of that one hit from safety Sean Taylor on that punter when they tried to do a fake punt and he came around the corner and fucking lit dude up, booyah, straight snot bubble. So I think that's like the best highlight you ever see from the Pro Bowl. And then just some of those mic'd up cuts you hear, like when Peyton Manning's wired up or Drew Brees. So that's kind of things you'll miss. I miss those little sound bites you'll get at the Pro Bowl, like with these quarterbacks when they get to chop it up. Our guys just talking about their family and kids and just sounding like, the regular human beings that they truly are. So RIP to the Pro Bowl. Maybe we'll see you in the future. I highly doubt it. All right, and then also next up on the docket now is Deshaun Watson is named the starter of the Cleveland Browns. He recently had a little spat with the media after he got booed at his last preseason game, just kind of mentioning how fans booed him when he also got hurt and kind of just he's fed up with the whole situation of getting booed and whatnot. So Todd Monken, the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, comes out, names Deshaun Watson the starter. I think that's it to kind of alleviate some of the pressure and stress off of him. Being in a quarterback competition with Shedeur. And so now it's his job to lose, which, I don't really know what the competition is. They're both pretty bad. Shedeur didn't even have mediocre numbers last year when he played. They were pretty minimal. So I feel like I don't know what the competition part was. Out of all these guys, Dylan Gabriel probably reads defenses the best and gets rid of the ball the quickest. It's just he doesn't throw it down the field a lot. So with the way this Cleveland Brown situation is starting to pan out now, I feel like Dylan Gabriel might actually get a start this season because I think they'll end up benching Shedeur maybe even. So I think Deshaun Watson maybe gets like first five starts. If they're 1-4, 0-5, I think they go to Shedeur. Shedeur gets like 4 or 5 stars. I think if they shit the bed, then they go to Dylan Gabriel. So I kind of feel like that's where the Cleveland Browns they're at. Their whole franchise is a mess right now. Their whole situation's a mess. It's almost like you got to definitely tear it down and then rebuild it. They did get rid of Myles Garrett, but we're able to get Jared Verse, so it wasn't like it's a drop off. It's not like it's a huge drop off getting Jared Verse compared to Myles Garrett. Not saying that Jared Verse is on Myles Garrett level at all. I'm just saying that it's not that bad of a trade. They know they fared pretty well. They got some draft picks, so they can build for the future for sure. All right, and then next up is 49ers head coach Jed York. Good old Jed. 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 Jed York gets arrested in Ohio attempting to go meet a prostitute in a police sting. He was driving to a trailer park to meet a prostitute in Ohio, and he got pulled over and arrested. And comes to find out they just released the body cam footage, I believe, and he had the money ready in his hand. He was looking kind of startled, a little puzzled. But this guy is a billionaire. Billionaire with the B, with the big B. Billionaire, owner of a franchise. And you're going to go get a hoe for $1.40? What are you doing, my guy? What are you doing? You dip in that wallet. You go for the 5 to 10K girlfriend experience. She knows how to play her part. She knows what she's there for. You don't go get some trailer park skank, my guy. You're rich. You're rich. Pay up a little bit, man. Stop being so cheap. What, does it make you feel like a regular dude if you go fuck a $100 hooker? Fuck that. You go get yourself a good hoe. Get them high-end hoes. Not no Ohio hoes. You go get them good end hoes in Cali or somewhere. Go to Vegas. Get some connects. You gotta know some rich guy that can plug you with the fucking, with a pimp or a madame. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing, my guy? The Niners are a mess. Kyle Shanahan gets in a car accident, fucks himself up. They keep that shit under wraps. And then you got the whole Brandon Ayuk thing in the offseason. That guy's a fucking head case. And then the whole electrical grid bullshit. And then now you got Purcell who gets hurt for the year because he went to rehab instead of just getting surgery. The Niners are just a freaking mess right now. Hopefully they can work it out during the season. Their division is not the easiest except for playing the Cardinals twice. But yeah, the Niners are a freaking mess right now. They need to figure it out. Get your guys' shit together. And then also, so now that Jed York got arrested, people have been digging into his private life now, and come to find out he filed for divorce a few months back. Go figure. The marriage didn't work. I wonder why. All right, and now it is time for the juiced up NFL special picks. Here we go. We're going to break down each division really quick here. Just give you little tidbits. I'm going to pick who I think is going to win the division, what teams I think are going to be wild card. I'll throw in a couple of fantasy tips here and there also with you guys. Last year I made a wild prediction that the Chiefs weren't going to make the playoffs. Your boy was like motherfucking Machiavelli, Nostradamus out here. I called it like a mofo. So I'll have a wild pick this year. I don't think it's too wild, but it might sound wild to maybe someone that's not a real football aficionado like myself, you know, self-made aficionado. So here we go. AFC East. Last year we had New England in first. We had Buffalo getting the wild card. Miami took third, Jets in fourth. This year, I got New England and Buffalo flip-flopping. I got Buffalo taking the division, New England coming in second. I think now New England's going to have to answer the gauntlet. You're going to have a tough schedule. New England's first 4 games are at Seattle, Pittsburgh, at Jags, at Bills. So New England's first 4 games are all playoff teams. Super Bowl rematch. Lost to Pittsburgh in the regular season at home around that same time, early September. And the Jags are not going to be no slouches. That's in Florida. Might be a heavy New England fan base there for that one. And then you got, of course, at the Bills. With the new stadium, the rivalry, Bills add DJ Moore, a couple of quietly defensive pieces here and there, so we'll see how the Bills look. But I got the Bills winning that division. I don't have New England making the playoffs this year. They will have a winning record. I just don't think the record will be good enough to make the playoffs. Even with the addition of A.J. Brown, I'm not totally sold on Drake May just because he had one good season against some slouches on the schedule. So I just need to see a little more out of Drake May and to be a true believer. So I had New England missing the playoffs but having a winning record. I guess that could be a wild take for you right there. AFC North, last year we had Pittsburgh taking first. We had Baltimore in second. Cincinnati took third, and obviously Cleveland at fourth. Cleveland will be in fourth place again in this division for the next couple of years unless they pull a freaking rabbit foot out of their ass. But I don't see them being successful or in the playoff hunt for a couple more years now here. So I have in this division again, I got Pittsburgh actually taking it again. The addition of the new receiver Pittman from Indy. I think that's going to be a great pickup. DK Metcalf. You got Rodgers one last go around. He's with his old coach, Big Mike McCarthy. I think their defense is still stout. They got a lot of money spent on that side of the ball. Good running game with Warren, and they might have added another running back, but I feel like they're pretty stout on both ends of the ball. O-line might have some questions. You're pretty good at tight end with Freiermuth, and they got that big ass like 6'8" dude who's fat as fuck also. So I think you're pretty good there. Aaron Rodgers could also still be, if you're in those deep leagues, those 12-man leagues for fantasy football, I think Aaron Rodgers is would be a great, like a third string quarterback, like a backup just for depth. And then in the division, I got Baltimore going in at second place. I got them taking one of the wild card spots in the AFC. So I got Pittsburgh winning the division, Baltimore taking the wild card. I got Cincy coming in third. I don't see Cincinnati still being good just because you add Dexter Lawrence to the D line and your running game is still in question. You already got Jamar Chase with the little hyperextension of the knee. They're saying it's no big deal. Stuff lingers. And I don't see Joe Burrow changing his philosophy of quarterback at all without holding the ball for too long. But also with Joe Burrow, injuries are a question. So if you go for Burrow in fantasy, I would not go in high rounds. I would go in maybe your 4th, 5th round. He could be a starter or a 2 option if you have a pretty good starter. But with Joe Burrow and injuries, that's my only suspect feeling with him going into fantasy football if you're going to draft your quarterback. If you're going for a quarterback and Joe Burrow is there in the 4th or 5th round, he's not a bad starter to have. He's going to put up numbers. I just don't see them being too good in that division. All right, AFC South. Last year we had Tennessee in 4th place. We had Houston take second. Houston took second. They made a good run, but they couldn't surpass Jacksonville, who ended up winning the division. But Houston, they made a good run. They started like 0-5 or 1-5, something along those lines, and they were able to finish out the season pretty strong. Already one big injury for them. I think it was one of the receivers went down, Higgins. He's out for the year. They did make a couple pickups with Butte, I think it was, and a couple other guys to kind of fill that void. So Houston with that defense, Will Anderson on the end. You got the other end. I can't think of his name off the top of my head right now, but I know they have 2 very good defensive ends. So I got Houston taking the division this year. I got Jacksonville at number 2, but getting the wild card spot. I think Jacksonville is going to come back and show this wasn't a fluke season. They got some good talent over there. They got some good speed. Playing in Florida, you're playing in good weather majority of the season, even though they do a couple, like 2 or 3 games in England for some reason. I have no idea. They do about 2 games in England back to back. And then I got Indy taking 3rd in this division. I'm still just not sold on Danny Jones, Danny Dimes. I know he had a good start of the year last year, but they fizzled out pretty bad. They did have injuries. Every team has injuries. I'm just not sold on Danny Dimes as a great starter and a guy that's going to lead a team to winning a division, especially when you start 5-0 last year and you still couldn't cut the playoffs. And with that, and then they re-signed Jonathan Taylor, which is good. Jonathan Taylor is obviously an RB1 in fantasy. He could take a wild card spot. He could be an RB2 if you're in a 2 running back league. So I think Jonathan Taylor is a no-brainer in fantasy as a 1. All right, AFC West. This is my division because this is where my lightning bolts rest. My Chargers. That's where my Chargers rest. All right, AFC West last year, we had Denver winning the division. We had KFC taking 3rd place, Raiders taking 4th, and my Chargers, they took 2nd place. So this year, I did pick Denver to win the division last year, so I'm not a complete Chargers homer. But with the additions that we did with Njoku, getting Mike McDaniels, addressing the O-line needs in the offseason, even though we just lost our center, they're looking for some depth to replace that. I got the Chargers taking 1st place in this division. Last year, I had the Chiefs not making the playoffs at all. They definitely have some injuries. Chiefs are long in the tooth. They lost some DBs. They did add Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP. Patrick Mahomes is coming off an injury, but with all that being said, I take the Chiefs going for 2nd place in this division and getting getting the 3rd wild card spot. And the reason for that is I think now with the 3rd place schedule, they don't have that gauntlet of having to play all these 1st place teams, seeing the Bills every year, all these NFC division winners. So I feel like them getting that, getting alleviated of having to play a 1st place schedule. Now they're playing a 3rd place schedule. I think that's going to help them. That's going to be very beneficial for them. I think they take the 3rd wild card. I think Denver is going to fall back a little bit, having to play, all the 1 seeds. But I don't think they're going to have a losing record. I just don't think they're going to have enough wins to compete in the AFC. And I feel like the Chargers, if they stay healthy, this could be the year for Herbert with Mike McDaniels getting the running game going, getting Keaton Mitchell now added to the backfield. Like I said, Njoku, you got Brendan Thompson now, speedster rookie. Trey Harris is coming off now, like I said, second year, I believe it is. And then hopefully we can get, Glad going again, because last year Glad was not compared to his rookie year. So that's my AFC prediction. I got all that going on. Bills winning the AFC East. AFC North, I have Pittsburgh. AFC South, I got Houston. I got the Chargers winning the AFC West. And for the AFC, I had the Chargers winning the whole AFC, going to the Super Bowl. Yes, I said it. I got my Chargers actually going to the Super Bowl. All right, switching over to the NFC now. We have the NFC East. We had last year we had Philly going in first, Dallas in second, Washington in third, Giants in fourth. Washington and Giants are both a mess. They could either flip-flop for third and fourth. I really don't care in that division. I think it'll be more of Washington than I will the Giants, but I can see them both having the same record. Giants have a little bit of a roster turnaround. Obviously, new head coach John Harbaugh, so we'll see how that goes. But in this division, I got Dallas winning the division. With the additions they made last year in the trade from the Jets, getting the defensive tackle, adding Caleb Downs, getting some more depth at linebacker. You have CeeDee Lamb. You have Pickett on the receiving core. I feel like Dallas ain't no joke with that offense if they get the running game going. So I got Dallas winning the NFC East. I got Philly taking a wild card spot. I think Philly's going to be better than. I think Philly's going to be really good. I just think Dallas is their year. I think Philly, they've had to go through so much, getting rid of A.J. Brown, being so consistent and winning the division these last couple of years, making consecutive, making the Super Bowl and always making the playoffs. But I feel like Philly will have enough to get into the wild card and make it into the playoffs. NFC North, last year we had Chicago winning that division. We had Green Bay at number 2, Minnesota at 3, and Detroit coming in at number 4. Detroit definitely it was a learning experience. They lost a lot of coaches, a lot of 2 coordinators, some assistant coaches. They got Jahmyr Gibbs going. They got Jahmyr Gibbs re-signed. Hopefully they got their offensive stuff situated. O-line is built up a little bit better now. You still have Laporta. You got the receiving core. St. Brown, Williams. So I feel like this division, I have Detroit winning the NFC North. They're going to be they're going to be playing a 4th place schedule. They've been through the gauntlet of playing hard teams, so they're battle tested over the last couple years. So I don't question how tested they are with having that kind of schedule. So I have Detroit winning the NFC North, and I got Minnesota taking the wild card position, getting a wild card spot in the NFC. I think Minnesota, they finished 9-8 last year. Addition of Kyler Murray. You got Jawan Jennings with Addison and Jefferson at the receiving core. You got Hawkinson at tight end still. Hawkinson's a good tight end 3, or a good second tight end for like a wild card spot if you want to use him for that. And I think they could get the wild card spot. I got Detroit coming in at 3rd, and I got Green Bay at 4th. I think Green Bay is going to be highly overrated. NFC South last year, we had Carolina winning with an 8-9-1 record or some crap like that. We had Tampa Bay take 2nd. Atlanta was in 3rd with the same record as, I think they all had the same record, but Carolina won the tiebreaker. And then we had New Orleans at 4th. I'm going to flip-flop New Orleans. I think Atlanta's going to be in 4th. New Orleans is going to be in 3rd. I think Atlanta's going to struggle with their quarterback situation. They should have made a move in the offseason. Maybe not Tua. They should have maybe traded for someone like a Spencer Rattler or a player of that type. They weren't able to do that. So I think Atlanta's going to struggle just because of their quarterback situation. So I got Atlanta coming in 4th. And then I got Carolina winning the division again. And I got Tampa taking 2nd. And I only got one playoff team coming out of the NFC South, and that's going to be Carolina. With the NFC West, I got the Rams. Rams are in 2nd. We had the Seahawks win the division and the Super Bowl. Rams came in 2nd. Niners came in 3rd. And Cards came in 4th last year. I'm going to have the Rams taking this division just with the additions they made at cornerback. Getting Myles Garrett as well. I think they're going to be pretty stout. They're going to be pretty ready for the Hawks this year. Hawks lost a few key players. Kenneth Walker, they did draft a rookie running back. They also got Charbonnet that's going to be coming back off an injury. I just think it's going to be a little bit tougher. It's always a little bit harder for the Super Bowl champs to come back, to have to bounce back. Look at the Chiefs. That's what makes the Chiefs so good and made them so respectful as a franchise, was that they could keep coming back. They could keep coming back and doing it and, staying consistent and staying focused. And I just think it is a hard task to do. And I just feel like the Seahawks, even though they won't win this division, I feel like they'll get the other wild card spot, but I have the Rams winning the NFC West. All right. That was my division wrap up. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you guys hit like, hit subscribe, email the show, thejuicedupshow@gmail.com as well. And next up, At the end of the show, it's the juiced up takes. All right. First juiced up take. We have Daquan White. He got cut from the Cleveland Browns, and now he's trying to go back to play college football after he got drafted and signed an NFL contract. It didn't work out, so now he's trying to regress his career and go back to college. And he was a tight end for Ole Miss last year. He played under Lane Kiffin. Of course, Lane Kiffin's always in some shady gray area shit. And Lane Kiffin's trying to get him to come back to LSU because he still has a year of eligibility left. And Lane Kiffin's defense is that this was a court-ordered thing, that players can come back that graduated in a certain year. But obviously there's no fine print that says if they went pro, they can come back or not. So this has now triggered the Big Ten to already pass a rule saying if you've ever gone in the draft and got drafted and signed an NFL contract, you cannot come back to the Big Ten ever. So Big Ten has done that. SEC is taking precedent now because the Big Ten runs college sports, man. They run college sports. You know it. The Big Ten runs the show. And so that's kind of where we're at in society now. People want to regress their careers and go back to school instead of getting out of school and leaving school. This guy wants to be a professional student. Like, dude, just go try to go on another team. Go play in the UFL, even though it won't be the greatest pay. But don't regress yourself going back to college football. Like, come on, my guy. Come on, my guy. Move on with your life, man. You're not Van Wilder. You ain't going to be in college for 8 years, my dog. All right, next juiced up take. The NFL season is upon us. It is the greatest time of year, in my opinion, being an NFL fan, especially in those harsh areas where you have harsh winters and there ain't shit to do outside. That's why they made football at that time of year. This is why we play football in the fall and the winter. It's because you can't go outside and do shit. So you stay in the house and you watch 8 hours of football on red zone. Commercial free, but they have them on the side, so it's still kind of, but it's not. But yeah, that's why they do this. Football season is upon us. Everyone's hyped for their team. Most people are optimistic, unless you're a Falcons or a Browns fan. You're optimistic about your team, the shit you guys can pull off. Can we get to the playoffs? Can we just have a winning record? Can I just watch the whole season and not have to turn off every game? That's where we're at. NFL season is here. Let's get juiced up. Let's get ready. 2026, 2027 NFL season. I'm freaking pumped. I love this time of year. I hope we're going to have so much to talk about on the show. So much information and stuff to go on. It's going to be a great freaking time. And I'm so happy the NFL is here. And that's my juiced up take for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this show. Hit like, hit subscribe. Make sure you share. Pass it along to your friends and family. Juicedupshow@gmail.com. Peace and bless up.